Good morning, this is Eric from the African Homestead. Welcome back. It is a overcast morning, no breeze, pretty humid, but still I think I'd pick this over the sun that we had yesterday. It was hot and sunny all day. Luckily I'd spent enough time out here that I've got a little bit of a burn on my scalp, but I've spent enough time out here in the partly cloudy days that I was able to get a tan on my head. So today, let me turn this around, we're going to be finishing up the foundation for the shipping container. And we got about more than 2/3 done yesterday. There's 96 linear feet that we're digging, and I think we did like 46 of that. And so this length here is done and the two ends are done, and we're just finishing this morning. And honestly, we're probably going to have it done here within the next hour and a half. And so that's great. And we're continuing to pile up all this brush, letting it compost over the rest of the rainy season. It's some pretty hard labor here today, and it has been. Surprisingly, when you're going in with a machete and cutting all of this bush, is not as difficult as it is to pick it up and carry it off. And it's not as difficult as digging a trench in this kind of gravelly, rocky soil. And so that's what we're working on today. And I'll talk a little bit more about some of the plans we have for the next few weeks. So when it's complete, there's going to be a shipping container over here, and that'll be one anchor. And then on the other end, we're going to have another shipping container anchor. I don't know if you can see the stakes. I'm looking through the screen. There's one here, one here, one here, and basically there's a big rectangle. And we're actually going to have a 20-foot shipping container sitting in the back half of the garage, and then this area up here is going to be, I'll have my workbench, and we'll have probably set up a small bathroom there to take care of business when needed. And then in between, there's going to be a probably 26 to 28 foot width of workshop, and that'll be big enough that I can park my backhoe, my pickup, my Land Cruiser, and tools and equipment and all that kind of stuff, and have enough room to really work without being cramped. And so we're going to put a roof over the whole thing, and it's going to be a good place to work. And then also we'll be able to set this up during the rainy season. Until the training center is built, we're going to be able to have workshops and training and meetings in here and things like that. And so that'll be really useful. Now the second shipping container is sitting in a parking lot at my church in Kansas City. And it's going to be filled in the coming months with solar panels and batteries and hot water solar system, a variety of different materials related to the construction and related to the ministry work we do here. And so that 20-foot container is going to get packed and shipped here, and hopefully somewhere at the end of this year to early 2019, we'll receive that and be able to move it on site. And a lot of those materials are going to be needed for the big house we're going to build. And so as we're digging the footers for that later this year and laying the foundation, when it comes time to put the roof on, we're going to need that container here. And so hopefully we're going to be able to get that all packed up and shipped out. And one of the challenges in Liberia is getting things out of port. It can be a little hairy, and that's all I'm going to say about that. I don't want to get in any trouble, but it can be challenging to get things out of the port. And if you don't do it quickly, then you start get charged a storage fee every single day your container sits there, as you wrangle about how much taxes to pay and things like that. And so that's something that we are looking forward to in the future. Another project that we have that we're starting on today, but it's going to continue while I'm in the States, is getting an area opened up to where we can get the 40-foot container and the crane truck up to the location where we're going to set the container. And what that involves is all the way from, you can see a guy in the distance and my car, coming basically up here along this ridge. We're gonna make a driveway, and that means every stump, every stick, every little stump that can puncture a tire has to be de-stumped and taken out. And so we're going to be cleaning this area, and then up through here, and then around this tree trunk on the other side of that, there's going to be a circle drive. And so again, we have to clear all the stumps and all the debris in this circle drive area, and then also on both sides of where the shipping container is going to sit, we have to have that clear. And so that way the crane can sit on one side and the truck with the container can sit on the other side, and they can set it into place. And that's the project we're going to be slowly working on in the coming weeks. This is the bush road coming in to the property from the main road. So as you can see, we've got to trim these trees back and open it up so the semi can come through without any problems. Also, we've got some holes here. This one's about, a 1.5 feet deep. And it's actually not too bad, but there's an area up here that a truck came in yesterday to try to load full of biochar bags, charcoal. And I don't know if you can see it here, but basically they went off the road a little bit and really kind of messed things up. And so they dropped off. It's not really a gutter here on the side, but their front wheel dropped off the road, and they didn't have good tires, even though they had, dualies in the back. Ended up getting stuck here, kind of messed things up a little bit. So we're gonna have to haul some gravel in, get this filled in, so that if it's raining when the semi shows up, that it doesn't also get stuck here. The other challenge we're going to need to take care of is the entrance from the main road onto the bush road. As you can see, there's a little bit of a hill here. It climbs probably 5 or 5.5 feet in a pretty short distance, and that may pose a problem for the semi truck. These guys, I've been able to find these trucks deep in the jungle, and so they go anywhere, but the challenge is you don't want it to tip over. You don't want everything inside to get trashed as they're trying to fight up this hill. So we're going to have to try to dig it out a little bit by hand. So we're going to need to come in with pickaxes and shovels and excavate this entry a little bit so it's not so steep, and also widen it so the truck can turn in and out more easily. That's going to be a job. I really wish I could bring the backhoe up ahead of time to do this type of work, because seriously, I could get this thing knocked out in about an hour, get the road fixed, do a lot of improvements, do de-stumping on the land, and save a ton of time. But the decision not to do that is a financial decision. The agreement with the company that's going to deliver the container is that they're going to bring one truck to carry the container and one truck with a crane on it. And so I have to pay for 2 trucks. The crane truck otherwise would be empty. They agreed to put the backhoe on there and deliver it basically for free. And so it wouldn't make sense to spend what could be another $1,000 just to bring the backhoe up to do some work that is going to cost me maybe 20-30 bucks in labor to get done. So that's why we're struggling along without the backhoe for now, but really going to enjoy that blessing once it gets here. Well, 2 days, 2 snakes. We just caught a cassava snake, is what they call it locally. And the reason they call it cassava snake is apparently they like to live in cassava fields, patches, cassava farms like these plants growing behind me. And that's what they were growing here before, but I think you can find cassava snake pretty much anywhere. The thing that makes that particular snake, and it's actually a type of viper. I don't remember. I'll look it up and see if I can find which type of viper it is. I'll put the name on the screen. But the thing that makes it dangerous is that it generally, just lies in wait. And then when a mouse or a rat or something walks by, it'll jump out and bite it and eat it because it's well camouflaged with just the forest floor or the debris. And you can see by this video right here that it blends in very well. And so one of the guys working was just walking across this open area here where we've been brushing, and in amongst the leaves he almost stepped on it. And that's where a lot of people in Liberia, and I shouldn't say a lot of people, snake bites aren't as common as you would think, but they're not uncommon. A lot of the snake bites that happen will happen because basically there's a snake in a tree and you accidentally grab it thinking it's a limb, or it's on the ground, you accidentally step on it. And so for me, when I'm walking, I'm always looking at the ground because there's snakes and scorpions and things like that you've just got to be aware of. And again, even though we found 2 in 2 days and there's deadly snakes around, generally if you're in there making noise, they head the other direction. And so there's not a lot of aggressive snakes. Most bite humans out of defense. And so this one, they've already got the plan to cook it up. So I'm gonna be able to try Viper in the soup today. So I'll give you a quick review at the end of the day when I'm eating it. That's the difference between a boy from the city and a man from the country. So the plan I have for this driveway, and I'll fully acknowledge things don't always go as planned, and so life is gonna, whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. But here's my thinking, is on this driveway, I have about, say, 4 inches of topsoil. It's rich in organic matter. This, when they first farmed it, they felled all the trees and bush, burned it, so there's even biochar in there, there's decomposing wood and things like that. So my thinking is, when I come through, after the container's in place, maybe or maybe not, before we start construction of the house, I want to come in with my backhoe and scrape off that 4 inches of topsoil and either pile it up over here on one of the piles of debris that we've cleared off the land. And there's on the site here, I think we have 4 of them now in various sizes. And so I could scrape that off, put it on top of that, just to help aid the decomposition process. Obviously, it's going to introduce a ton of helpful microbes into that process. It's going to introduce organic matter, it's going to introduce carbon and biochar and all that. So I may do that. But I don't want to just have it turn into a driveway. And plus, when it rains, topsoil is going to get slippery and sloppy and muddy, and that's not what I want. So the 2 options I have is to leave the topsoil and then try to sow in something they call carpet grass. There's some of that at the church. I'll insert a little shot of the video of what that looks like. It's just a very low creeping grass that is really durable, that you can drive on. I just don't know if it's going to stand the heavy traffic that we're going to have coming in out of here. The second option, which is the one I'm leaning towards, is I'll scrape off the topsoil, get down to the laterite, and then somewhere else on the property, dig up more laterite, build it back up with that. And so that is a mix of very fine red clay soil and gravel. And what happens with it when you use it, it's very common here to fill areas and to build roads. What happens with it when it rains, that clay tends to wash off and reveal the gravel on top, and you end up with a really nice durable surface. And once that's established, it's really a good road surface. So that's what I'm leaning towards, is building, bringing in a bunch of laterite from somewhere else here on the property and using that as the main road. It also obviously isn't good for growing anything, so I won't have as much of a problem with weeds and other things growing in the driveway and causing an eyesore or maintenance problem. So yeah, give me your feedback. What do you think? As far behind as I am on posting my videos, who knows, I may have the driveway in place before. Nah, I think I'm going to get caught up before that happens, because we're talking that's a few months away. So I'm rambling now, so I'm going to stop and let's get back to work. I just got back to the church and realized that I didn't close out today's village vlog. So in conclusion, you know, any day when you accomplish more than you expected to accomplish is a good day. It's a great day. And so it's been a great day. We got more than half of the driveway put in. We have the circle part that we're going to do. Tomorrow is a national holiday. It's Liberian Independence Day. They just call it the 26th. And so this, for when you're watching this, I'm referring to July 26th. And as Africa's oldest republic, established I think in 1847, it's a special holiday for Liberians. I didn't expect them to work, but as we were leaving the job site, they looked at what was left and they said, why don't we come back, we'll just do a half day tomorrow. And so that's the plan. Tomorrow we're going to start at 8 and work till 12 and then knock off, and they're going to have the rest of the day to celebrate their 26th. In that half day, I think I have enough people that will be able to finish the driveway, and that'll be fantastic. So we have the foundation trench dug. So Friday, in 2 days, we'll be casting the footer. Then Saturday, the next day, hopefully, the plan is to set all the block and finish that job. So then when I come back from the States, the foundation is ready, the site's ready, we'll be able to get the container and bring the truck in and get everything set in place, and then start construction of our little two-bedroom house.